welcome to Voices from the Touchline, the podcast exploring the mind shaping modern football. My guest today is André Santos, a UEFA licensed coach and performance analyst who's worked across Portugal, the UAE, Libya, Lithuania, with clubs like Ahly Tripoli, Fujairah FC, and Estoril Praia. Today, we explore how tactical insights and analysis shapes preparation, performance, and decision making. André, welcome to Voices from the Touchline.
Hi, Ryan. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have a good time here.
We definitely will, because we are going to be speaking about a unique topic, which is analysis. And for the majority of my audience, which are football coaches, I'm sure you're going to add some great insight. So yes, to begin, what first drew you into the world of team and opponent analysis, and why do you believe it is such a critical part of modern football?
So for the first question, I think it all started when I wanted to move a little bit further in my career, and I needed to move from the youth coaching to the professional side of it, and I understood quite quickly that I needed more game understanding, and just the basics that I had were not enough, like not even close enough to be at a high level. So like many of us, I took advantage of COVID and be locked down, and started investing on my knowledge and on those situations. And I thought, okay, analysis could be a good way to get more game understanding, and also to add some assets to my CV, and for then. And then I know how hard it is to get into professional level. So I thought analysis could be a good opening. First, it's something that I like. Secondly, it's something that I could. So I started, and that's why I started investing in my analysis formation, and it was like that. And for the second question, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, I think you're coming to it about why you believe it's such a critical part of modern football.
Right now, like everybody, right now, everybody analyzes everyone. Like there's no secrets. Could be one little detail here or there, but in general, everybody knows everybody. Even at the youth level, even at the amateur level, everybody knows everybody. So the more you know about the opponent, the better. Always, of course, it depends on the philosophy and the methodology of the whole technical stuff, especially the head coach. But it's such a critical point because it can give us like ways to affect the opponent. How to imagine if we're gonna play against a tough opponent that presses really high, or on the opposite, an opponent that defends very low. How are we going to break through? How are we going to break through the defensive blocks of the opponent? So analysis can give us, okay, we can explore this space, or we can force the ball through this player because this player positioning himself this and this, or has this kind of behavior. There's 1,000 ways to use it, but I think it's quite important to have that knowledge and base on your team, because if you don't have, like, you are already behind all the other teams, basically.
Yes, I mean, that's the beauty of analysis. With technology becoming so profound, I just thought that, you would be a good guest because of the rich experience you come with, expertise you come with. So I think today's podcast is going to be a guide. So for all the viewers listening, they might want to have their notepad out, because I'm going to be asking you some very objective questions, which I'm sure budding analysts would want to take inspiration from. So when you prepare an opponent analysis report for a first team coach specifically, what are the 3 or 4 key areas you always focus on?
So here, I have my own basics, what I usually like to show. I'm going to start from there. Usually, the build-up of the team in 2 moments: the goal kick and when the ball is rolling. How do they build up? The shape of the team, attacking and defending. Basically, like if they press high, how they press. If 2 players, 3 players, whatever. Where's the spaces where we can hurt them, and obviously set pieces. Like this seemed like very short, but inside of these are a lot of things to explore. I have this as a basic. However, it's very important to have in consideration what does the head coach want, because many times you can simply, okay, you can have a huge report, super complete with all the information and everything, and it's very well done, very perfectly. The key informations are there, but then the head coach can just say, just show me how they defend, or just show me like how they attack, how they build up. Some coaches, for example, are obsessed with the build-up part or the goal kick. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying what's wrong, what's right. It's just different approaches. And as analysts, we have to have the capacity to adapt. Okay, we have this knowledge, and it's important to have like the full information. But it's also important to understand what does the coach want, because we are there to cut time to the coach, basically. And that way, okay, the coach wants this. Okay, I'm just going to show him that. And obviously, within the weeks going by, you adapt yourself, and you can simply, okay, I already know what the coach wants, especially if it's a new coach that you never worked before. You can simply, okay, he just wants this and this. But also, it's important to have everything ready, because, okay, the coach just wants the offensive process. But in the middle of the week, or in the middle of the match, or right before the match, you can snap and just say, okay, how do they defend? And you have to be ready for that. So it's a matter of adaptation, getting ready, prepare, and it's basically like that. So have the full information, but deliver the report as the coach wants, basically like that.
Well, it's amazing how the nature of the role is so dependent on the coach, that the coach wants this, the coach wants that, despite, you guys as analysts doing such detailed reporting. And I'm sure it must be feeling very, yeah, I don't know what the feeling is when you've created so much, putting so much time, and the coach says, no, scrap this. This is what I want to know. But yeah, that's the beauty, I guess, of your role. So, talking about your rich heritage, your rich experience as an analyst, you have worked in different countries, Portugal, UAE, Libya, Lithuania. So that's already various continents that you have worked in. How does the importance of analysis vary across leagues, and most importantly, across football cultures?
That's a very good question, because it changes. It does change. Once again, it goes to the culture, and goes also to the coach itself. But let's talk about coaches, because that was the question. For example, let me tell, like for example, in more Arab countries, they want to have, and they believe it's important to have someone to do the presentations, the analysis, and everything. But it's, how to say, it's not that it's not too valid, but it's not, for them, it's not the most important thing. Like for example, in Portugal, it's massive. It's super, super, super important to have detailed videos, detailed individual, collective videos, to have presentations of this, and this. It's very, very, very important. So, like you said, it's about cultures. In Lithuania, which was a very particular one, it's a lot about specific details as well. Not as much as Portugal, but also how to say, they give quite important. So I believe when you go to European side of it, it's super important. The importance is like, it's like up here, even though the position is not very well valued, but the importance of the work is here. While in more Asian or Arabic countries, like it's not so important. Like for example, I think they consider more of a physical coach to be more important than analyst. For example, and I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. It's just the way they think most of the times.
Definitely. You've you're obviously working with footballers at the end of the day, and some footballers may not really have the patience or the interest to watch a screen and watch themselves or get too much information. So, in your experience, how do you balance providing detailed tactical insights without really overwhelming the players with too much information?
So that is across the world. So it doesn't matter if you are in Portugal or England, or if you are in UAE or in South America. Players don't have patience to be there and for that. That doesn't depend too much on the culture. However, you have to have that consideration. Obviously, there's if for example if you don't show or if you don't have, players will complain, oh, why you don't have this or this. But when you have, like, keep it as short as possible. So we want to define, like, we of course within the technical team and with the head coach, what we want to show. We're not going to show like half an hour videos or anything. Try to keep it maximum 10 minutes. Okay, and the video itself is with the video plus the presentation, the talking, and keep it short and objective. So offensively, they do this. We want to press this way, force them to the side, or we want them to play to this player, and on this player then we press, or we want to hold them back. Like clear and close formations. Defensively, same exact. Then show a little bit of set pieces as well, and that's it. Presentation to players has to be very, very short, objective, so they have clear information. If it's too much information first, after you say, like I'm talking about, for example, the goal kick. If you show like five videos of just a goal kick, by the third one, they already forgot the first two. So there's no point. Okay, you can show a lot, but there's no point to show all that. Show clear ones where the information is clear and precise, and then basically on that to make sure that they understand. And so when they go to the match, because the match is the most important thing, and we as coach or we as an analyst are not the ones who are going to play. So we have to provide the clear information. So when they are there and they see things happening, they say, okay, I remember this in the video, or I remember the coach, the head coach, or the analyst saying this, and it's easier for them to match whatever the situation is going on, and then try to do according to the game plan that we did.
Phenomenal. Fantastic answer there. Could you share a specific match or season where specifically opponent analysis, directly influenced the team's success on the pitch?
I can give you two examples. One bad, one good. Okay, I'll start with the bad one. And I was in UAE. In my first match that we got there, I found that, okay, the opponent had a very basic, very basic way of attacking. So initially on the goal kick, on the kickoff, they would how to say, pass to the midfielder, and to the midfielder, pass all the way to the winger, and from the winger then to cross. 20 seconds, they did exactly that. They scored 1-0, they won the game. So it was exactly that. That was one of the bad situations where we saw and we couldn't pass the information. And obviously on the good side, I can give a clear example here in Qatar. We observed that, for example, the left back of the opponent team would follow anywhere our winger. Our winger could drink water outside of the pitch, he would go with him. So we understood that. So we created a dynamic where our winger would take him down and our center mid would attack the space between the center back and the full back. And we scored 2 goals like that, and 1-3-0. That's a clear example. It worked very well. And the best thing is, like, especially if you are up there, when you are up there and you see the game situation happening, and it's happening how it is.
Right. I think, analysis is, of course, a luxury for a lot of majority clubs that do not have the budget. But I think this is a good way to show the importance that, you can do with an extra eye, that to technology integrated. So yes, definitely. But the human eye is, of course, something that a lot of coaches still depend on. So how do you integrate video analysis, data, and live observation into one coherent scouting and analysis process?
So once again, I'm going to say this depends a lot, because it depends a lot on the context, and also depends on the dynamic of the technical team, the technical staff. I can give you an example. When I was working for the Lithuanian club, I was the opponent analysis, and they have a data analyst and also a set piece analyst. So my work was just focused on the opponent and not even talking about the set pieces, for example. But most of the cases, especially when we are not too high in the highest level, is you accumulate all those tasks, and within that you can either work by yourself and take information whatever you have available to compact everything, or for example, if you have a good relationship with a fitness coach, for example, where he has access to other kinds of data, our team, and also the opponents, like more physical and stats and everything, we can combine and then put together on the presentation. Because at the end of the day, it's not Andre's work; it's the team work. So we all work for the same objective, and we work together as more like that. And in terms of my process, in terms of data, I take not too many. I don't like to take too much data. I take like key things what I can bring to the report and then interpret it in the best way possible. Then what we need in terms of observation is also looking for between the data and what we observe is also to see like standard patterns that a team has in the different moments, like offensive patterns, defensive patterns, and those are the things we need, because it's very easy to watch a match and see let's say a highlight. Oh, this is very good, but they did this once in the last 5 games. They did this once, so we're not going to put this in our on our report, because it was a game situation. What we need to find is the ones that they did that game 20 times, that they did 100 times in the last matches, the last 5 matches, for example, and try to do that, and not to just put, okay, this clip is very good, I'm going to put. Now we need to interpret what is going to happen, or try to anticipate what is going to happen based on patterns and with all this situation.
With the progression of analysis, it's in many clubs involve analysis in both youth team level as well as senior level. So at what level do you think opponent analysis specifically becomes truly valuable, and how should the approach differ from analysis at youth versus analysis at CS first team level?
Starting with the youth, I think in youth, especially U17s and below, you should be focusing way more on your team, because in youth we're talking about developing, and if you're developing, you're not going to develop based on the opponent. You have to focus on yourself, the way you want to play, and if you're going to show any videos, show of your team. This is my opinion. Obviously, if you have information about the opponent, okay, gather it as a technical team. Have it in consideration, have that information, because it can be useful during the match to make adjustments, make decisions, to change anything in the game. So it's important. So I think for youth to be focusing on the opponent, or have too much information about the opponent, I don't think it adds too much value to what of the objective of the youth is, in my opinion. When it comes to senior level, it's completely different, because what's more important about everything is the next match. And it's important to have information about the opponent, to build a strategy based on that. Of course, when you play for Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, whatever, of course, those kind of teams have a very strong identity, and they will play the same way no matter what. But when it comes to levels lower than that, of course, you have your own identity, but you can and you should have the consideration of the opponent in your mind and in your game plan. So this approach, in my opinion, are completely different. Even if you are in the same club, I'm going to give you an example. Liverpool. If you have the youth of Liverpool, for example, they should focus on their team, and then, but based on the senior team or under 23s, maybe under 19s, okay, you already have the opponent focus, but be more focused on your team when it comes to youth, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree 100%, 100%, because you said that it's more of developing. You can't develop based on the opponent. So yes, great point there.
Yeah.
Now, something to do with the reality of football. Analysis is still a luxury that a lot of professional clubs can have, perhaps semi-professional clubs can have. But let's say a lower division club or in a less covered league, if they want to use analysis and they have very little data or footage available, how would you guide them?
So one thing, even in very lower clubs, okay, you can have a camera, even if it's not high quality camera. Like even phones nowadays have decent cameras. So most of the teams, if not all teams, even in amateur divisions, and I've seen that happening, they record their own games. So one of the approach that usually we try to do is to try to connect everyone, every club in the league, and either say like all the analysts, or even if they don't have an analyst, the assistant coach, or even the head coach, like try to connect and build a group where we have the commitment of sharing our game. Okay, it can be through a link, it can be through a group that only us have access in YouTube when we upload our matches, and then you can watch the matches. It should be like that. Of course, there's going to be teams, there's going to be coaches that I don't want to show my game. Okay, it's because you don't want to show your strategy. Okay, he's out, but he also is not going to have access to the rest. So nobody hides anything from anybody. Okay, even at a very low level, it's super hard to hide those kind of things. So why not sharing? Okay, I'm going to have access to your team, you're going to have access to mine, and then that's it. We are at the same level. If we don't have access to, I don't have access to yours, you don't have access to mine, we are still at the same level in terms of information. So there's no point. So usually those things happened, and that's how usually I've been managing when I was in the lower ones, or like in youth, for example. It's even harder. It's even harder to get access to anything. So those things are like that. If for some reason it's impossible, you cannot create or you cannot connect, or some clubs don't have cameras or anything, but you still want to make an analysis based on that, you work with what you have. One danger that you may find is some matches, some games you have opponent analysis, some games you don't. Then it's a matter of deciding if that's a professional approach or not. And once again, there's no wrong decisions here. Okay, it's based on how do you work, based on what group are you working with in terms of players. So it's a matter of decision in that way. Right. And if you are in a low level, players will also understand. Okay, this is low level. We don't have access to that. the coaches are doing the best. So it's a matter of working with what you have.
Yeah, well, I guess there's always a way around it because you mentioned that even if you have a phone which is of not top quality, you can still do some level of analysis, definitely. So, what role does opponent analysis play in in-game decision making? For example, during halftime adjustments.
So in my opinion, in halftime adjustments, like there's no point showing a lot of stuff. Okay, during the first 45 minutes, you're gonna identify one, maximum two situations where are key things. It can be the way, okay, we're gonna correct ourselves. Okay, we are doing this, especially defensively. Okay, we are defending very well. Our pressure is not working. Our adjustments are not working, and we show the coach, hey, look, and they then can show up if we have a TV or if we have equipment to show, or if not, we just pass by information or on a tactical board, however it works. But very, very key things, and to be honest, it doesn't change much. One, like in a few games, like if we have 30 games in the season, maybe I would say maximum 5 at halftime, you can have like, okay, this here or explore this or adjust this, and that can make a huge difference that will lead you to winning the match or getting a result that is good for you. But that key information has to be passed during the week. The halftime is just major to make major corrections. Like there are like this is very bad. We are seeing this, or if for example the other team is they are opening a huge space between lines, between defensive and mid line. We need to explore that. Okay, and basically it's like that. It doesn't have a huge role to the outcome of the match. However, we'll go back again. Depends also on the coach, on how the coach wants to use that, and how much information does he want, how much information he wants to pass to the players. But it has a very, very, very tiny importance, in my opinion, at halftime.
Right. Well, that's interesting because, on the contrary, a lot of coaches are very dependent on their analysts to get their input. But and nevertheless, now of course, analysts are humans working with technology. Now, I was just intrigued to know that, with AI and tracking technologies becoming so advanced, how do you see the role of human analysts evolving in the next 5 or 10 years?
Very honestly, I see in the long term this position start to disappearing. Unfortunately, what can keep this information is the having in consideration the human part. What do I mean by this? Analysis, AI can and will be able to identify every little bit of data. You will be able to identify every little bit. Okay, I want the last 10 free kicks that they took from the left taken by this player. There we go. You already have Y Scout, where you have most of the information already. So you just cannot code in terms of, okay, you have to see the clips and select your own. In the future, you're going to be pressing like type something, and it will like Y Scout or any other tool will give you that. And that's the time. So basically, the analyst is used to save time for the coach because the coach has like 1,000 other things to care about. If you have a machine that within 5 minutes you have everything, the analyst will lose space. However, having in consideration the human part, so analyze human behaviors, analyze if a player struggles under stress, if the player or a team struggles under a situation of pressure, or like those kind of things. Okay, data can give you a little bit of that, but it's something so how to say, so hard to make a label on it, that you cannot put a label on a feeling. Okay, it's always a matter of interpretation. So that could be the only thing, in my opinion, in the future that will keep this job and this role available, to have the human factor up. What can happen as well is many coaches don't care about that, and that way you can lose space. But in my opinion, it will start to disappear in that way.
Yes, I guess there will still be a need for analysts because, as you said, you see the human touch. Football is an emotional sport, but yeah, it's going to become fiercely competitive for sure. There'll be many analysts and very few jobs where they would want the human. So yeah, that's interesting to see how that unfolds in the future. So, what advice would you give to coaches who want to start applying basic opponent analysis without having access to advanced tools?
Watch matches. First of all, watch matches and try not to follow. One thing that we see the more and more is this younger generations. They don't see football as much as probably we used to watch. It's true. Football is not so enjoying to watch as it was before. Okay, it's becoming more mechanic, more tactical, more close, more playing not to lose instead of to win. So I know it can be sometimes not so pleasant to watch. However, if you want to go through this and you want to start building your own, start observing games. Okay, if you don't have access, okay, if you have internet, go on YouTube, watch a match. Doesn't matter if it's a recent match, old match. Try to watch a match and try to identify. Okay, how does this team play? Okay, what formation are they playing? Basic stuff. When you are comfortable saying, okay, I watch a match, I see the formation. Okay, let's go to the next step. Try to see what they are looking for, what are intentions of the team. How do they play? Do they play like this in every moment of the game? How do they adapt to the other team? And start seeing this and create your own with paper and pencil. You start typing, okay, and you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. You're gonna write wrong things. You're gonna see wrong things, but that's part of the process. It's totally normal. Okay, even the top analysts in the world, they see things that are not correct, which, okay, they see way much less. Maybe they see one wrong thing in 10, but it's part of start. It's like the muscle. Okay, the same way you go to the gym, you start educating your brain to what, and your eyes to look for things like that. Also, if you want to start, okay, I want to make a good presentation, even if my knowledge is not the biggest, but I'm working for X club and my coach would like, or I know I can add some value if I put this. There's some free tools, okay, that you can, softwares where you can download. You have it on your computer, and they are free, and you can use like for example for Playmetrica is where you can put your own animations and everything. Okay, even if it has a like limited animations per month, it's still free. It's still a way to start. So if you don't have access to a lot of things, okay, it's always about what do you have access to, and based on that, even if it's very low, okay, try to build from where you are. Try to go from those little things.
Definitely, as simple as that. These baby steps towards becoming much better at it. So, you've worked as a coach as well as an analyst. So that gives you a perspective of both ends. How do you ensure your analysis directly supports the coaching philosophy as well as the style of play?
So I think one thing complements the other. So before I was an analyst, I coached youth, and that helped me a lot when I went to analysis. Okay, I'm not just gonna be a guy behind a computer. So because I had a little of understanding about training and about the game, of course, he had became better, and I still have a lot to learn from there. But he helped, and now going the other way around, if I would move from an analyst to the coach, I would have the analyst part and the game reading, the game situation way much better, and I think that could complement the both of them. Okay, one complements the other. And when we come to coaching philosophy, one thing that I usually say, okay, when, for example, we are making the analysis of the opponent, don't just focus on what they do. Okay, we can focus on what they do, but when you are looking and looking for spaces, looking for gaps, looking for what can we explore, or where to press and something, we always have to have in consideration the way we play and our team. Can give you a clear example. Imagine we have a striker that is very strong in the air, very strong finisher, but he's not very quick, he's not very explosive, but is there for what we need offensively. But I want my team. Oh, I saw that the left center back is weak, so we're gonna press him. Okay, and I want my striker to press him hard. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. We're just making our striker tired. We are giving the other team space and time. So we need to put those things together. We identify those situations perfectly. Okay, can our team explore those situations? Okay, or another thing, another example I can give. Okay, they are not very good in transitions. Okay, we need to attack that space very quick. Okay, do we have quick wingers? Do we have quick players to attack that? We have. Okay, we can build that strategy. We can try to. If we don't have, that's not our way to play. We never did that in the past 2 months. There's no point. So it's about putting those two things together. How do we play? What's not only our philosophy, but what are the characteristics of our team and players? And now we have the opponent analysis, and we have these gaps, these weaknesses. Okay, how can we, having this and this, put them together and then try to have as much success as possible?
Definitely. I think this is some great insights you have given for the analysts as well as coaches. But before we end this, I want to ask you a fun question, because you have obviously watched so many matches in your life as an analyst. So you have traveled and worked in so many different countries. If football gave you a free ticket tomorrow, which stadium in the world would you most love to watch a match in, and why?
San Siro. That's very easy answer. I grew up like many of us from. I was born in 1990. Okay, nowadays we have the Premier League as the highest league, the best league in the world. But back when I was younger, and I grew up watching the most Italian sports. For those who don't know, the Serie A was the best league in Europe and probably the best league in the world back then. Like all the best players were there, and of course I'm Portuguese. I'm a fan of a Portuguese team, but one team that I grew up watching, and basically it's my second team, is AC Milan. And if I know they are planning on building a new stadium and destroying the legendary San Siro, so definitely if I have a free ticket, I would go to San Siro to watch AC Milan play. If they play against Inter or Juventus, would be great. But just by there would be amazing, and it's something that I hope to do before they destroy the stadium.
Yeah, I remember AC Milan squad once upon a time. It was dangerous, really dangerous, really good to watch.
Uh,
But yeah, Andre, this brings us to the end of such an insightful episode where you have given us some great insights into how both basic level analysts as well as top level analysts can actually enhance their craft, as well as tell coaches about how they can implement the analysis into their teams, regardless of what level they are at. So this was great, wonderful chatting with you, and hope to chat with you again.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a great pleasure. And anytime, I'm more than available to come here again. No worries. Thank you very much. And all the success for your podcast, because you've been asking very, very, very good questions. So all the best and all the success.